Happy Friday, everyone. We are here with our creative, our colorful Crayon the Courageous for our last day doing a crayon-based art project. Kala and I are pretty excited about this one. We tested it out the other day, and it's just something kind of different and fun. So I had posted a picture of all the materials you'll need. I'll go over them now, but you do need an adult to help you with this one, because you need to use a hot iron and a couple other things that it would be great to have a parent or adult to help you with. So we are going to create some beautiful melted crayon sun catchers today. There's a couple of ways that we can do this. One is we can create a framed sun catcher, and it's hard to see because I'm not looking through a window here, but if you hold this up to the light, it's really, really beautiful. And you can see the color shining really brightly. So this was one that Kala and I made. Another way that you can do this, and I'll show you both ways.
It was actually fireworks.
Another way you can do it is actually to create shapes from your melted crayon pieces and make a mobile. So we're actually going to show you how to do both today.
Mama, this time I want to make a snow like I was falling from the sky.
Ooh, I think that's a cool idea. So we'll do that too.
I need help cutting out the snowflakes. I don't know how to cut out the snowflakes.
I think we can work on that together. All right, so the first thing that you need is wax paper. This is something that you might want a parent to help you with. You need a piece that's about a foot long, 12 inches long. Doesn't have to be exact. And you're going to tear it. Then you're going to take your scissors and you're going to cut this in half this way.
You can probably do this yourself.
The scissor part, you think everyone can do it themselves? I think you're probably right. So that you have two just about equal pieces of wax paper. Okay,
and you need sharpeners. We have fishy, wishy sharpeners. Fishy, swimmy.
You're going to have one piece of wax paper set aside for later. That's the top. And then you're going to put one piece in front of you. That's the bottom. Kala and I have some fun little piranha sharpeners that we're going to use. And you need some crayons. This is a great project to use those old crayons that maybe half the wrappers have fallen off, or the ones that you got like at the restaurant in the little box that you just have kicking around, because it doesn't really matter the quality of the crayons. And this is kind of a great way to get rid of that stash of crayons that you have. So we actually open our pencil sharpeners for this part. And what you're going to do is you're going to choose a crayon and you're going to sharpen your pencil over.
I got silver, guess what?
Over your piece of, we're very excited today. Over your piece of wax paper, so that you have a bunch of crayon shavings all over your wax paper. So I'll show you. I'm just sharpening my crayon. Okay, and you'll see, I'll show you up close in a second.
I got a raindrop.
That there's all sorts. Kyle, do you want to add any more colors to yours? Or are you good with what you got?
I want to add some more colors to mine.
I'll show you in a second. You'll see that all the shavings have hit the wax paper. Now there are two tools that will help you with this. The crayons break fairly easily in the pencil sharpeners. So Kala and I have a plastic ruler. This is something else that an adult may want to help you with.
And just in case some of these guys get stuck up in the sharpener, you can just use the brush.
Yes. Can I show them actually? So Kala's talking about another tool we need. So we're going to use our pencil sharpener, and you actually very carefully use the edge of the ruler, to get any stuck pieces of crayon out. You can kind of tap the pencil sharpener. I recommend using pencil sharpeners that may not be your favorite, and then the piece of crayon will come out, and you can use that chunky piece of crayon on your wax paper for your project. And then we actually ended up using a paintbrush as well, because you definitely don't want to stick your finger into the pencil sharpener, and you can kind of dust out any pieces of crayon here onto your wax paper. Okay, so I'm going to pull the camera up closer so you can see. Kala, I'm going to show them your page because it's nice and full. This is Kala's piece of wax paper with all the crayon shavings on it. Now Kala's almost done. We found the other day that if we, let's see if I can set that down. If we put too many shavings close together on our piece of wax paper, this is what happens. It looks cool, but we're trying to create something that the light can shine through because it's a sun catcher, right? And the light can't really shine through this. So this was one of our experiments. So try not to put too many shavings on your piece of paper, on your piece of wax paper. So Cal and I are gonna add a few more. This is a good time for your mom or dad or grandma or whoever is helping you to heat up the iron. So we put our iron on the nylon setting. It's setting number 2 on our iron. I'm actually going to turn it back on because it's turning off. So one of the lower settings, and that seemed to work really, really well when we got to the melting part. While I'm shaving, I will also tell you that you need a kitchen cloth, preferably one that's like a craft cloth that it doesn't really matter to you if it gets melted crayon on it. And we also use a cutting board to protect our tabletop surface. All right, I think I'm gonna use maybe one more color. What do you think, Kala? One more. I'm gonna do red. So we are actually peeling some of our wrapper off of our crayon. If wrapper falls onto your wax paper, it's just gonna get stuck in your project and it actually ends up looking kind of cool. Can't remember if I have a piece with wax, with crayon wrapper. Anyway, it doesn't matter if the crayon wrapper gets in there, but we find that the crayons sharpen better without it. And it's cool, some of the crayons sharpen with like really big pieces. Some are like really tiny pieces, some are really stringy. This one I just created like a really big string of red. So that's gonna look cool when it melts. Oh, Kelly, I like that like salmon-y pink color that you picked. That's awesome. All right, I'm gonna do one more, I guess. Where is that pink color? Oh, I like this purple. Excuse me, reach. All right. So we're almost ready for our melting. And this is a really cool project too because it goes pretty quick. I feel like the part that took us the longest was this part where we're sharpening our crayons and deciding what colors we want on our artwork. All right, I'm gonna use my handy paintbrush. This does not hurt your paintbrush really, by the way. You can definitely use any paintbrush that you have and wash it after and it's not going to hurt it. Alright, I'm going to close up my pencil sharpener so it's safe. And I'm going to lay my second piece of wax paper on top of my crayon shavings here and make sure all the crayon shavings are in between the two pieces. Then I'm going to get my, my cutting board and my kitchen cloth, and I'm very carefully, this is another thing maybe mom and dad can help you with, going to slide my wax paper with the crayon shavings onto the cutting board, like that, okay? Then I'm going to take my cloth and cover my wax paper and crayons. And this part, Calla, can I trade sides with you so I can iron without getting in your way? Or do you think, actually, you know what? We're all good. I'm going to put this over here and move Crayon the Courageous. And I'm going to push this up a little bit. And I'm going to put the iron in front, okay? So you stay on this side with your work and I'm going to iron in the front because it has a nice long cord. All right, this is the part that mom and dad have to do. I've got my iron on my really low setting and I'm going to set it right on top of my cloth. You don't want the iron to touch the wax paper. Some people do it straight on, but I just want to protect my iron. I don't really have a craft iron, so we're going to use our regular iron for this. So that's why I put a cloth in between. And you're just going to gently iron over all of the sections of your wax paper. And you can check it anytime. You just lift up your cloth and you start to see, I could show this better, more safely. I'm going to put the iron over here for a moment so I can lift it up and show you that my crayon is starting to melt. You see that? It's spreading out. So as I check it, I can kind of see which pieces of crayon, which shavings haven't melted yet, and I'll go back over it with my iron. I noticed on this side there were some pieces. And over here, Cal, are you just about ready for me to iron yours as well?
Do you like this color I'm using?
Yeah.
It's this.
It's that really bright, like teal blue, yeah? Oh my goodness, cool color scheme. All right, I'm gonna check it again. Let's see. Oh yeah, cool. So it is a little warm, but not too bad. Look at that, so cool. Do you want me to do yours, or do you want to keep shaping crayons?
Okay.
You ready?
I'm done.
All right, cool. All right, I am very carefully going to cover this.
Actually, at first, I'm gonna move that around.
Okay. You can also move your shavings around into, different places that you want them.
Fireworks, fireworks.
Ready?
Yeah.
Perfect. Sorry. All right, I'm gonna set Cala's carefully on here. I'm gonna cover it up, and I'm going to start ironing. Now, while we are ironing Cala's, I'm gonna tell you about your options once you're done ironing. So I had showed them to you earlier. You can either put a frame around your sun catcher, and you could really make it any shape you want. I did a rectangular frame that went around basically my whole piece here. But I also created a few other frames that I might fill in. This one's a diamond.
I made that
Ella
frame.
likes that one, so we might have to do that. And what you would do is you would place this over your melted crayon piece. You would trace the outside of the diamond with pen or pencil, and then you would cut on that line, a little on the inside of that line, and I'll show you in a minute, so that you can tape the frame to it. Oh, Cal, this is so cool. Almost done. I'm going to do a little over here, and then we'll call it good. Or you can create a bunch of smaller shapes, like this triangle, so that you can cut a bunch of little shapes out and create a bunch of small sun catchers. So it sounds like Calla wants to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to finish my mobile. So I started creating raindrops, but I also want there to be some flowers, because does everyone know the saying, April showers bring May flowers? I thought it would be fun to have a mobile that kind of gave you a visual of that poem.
Hey,
So I am going to take my cookie cutter, my flower cookie cutter, and my pen, and in a minute I'm going to trace my flower on my wax paper, and I'm going to cut it out, and then I'm going to attach it to my mobile, and we'll show you how to do both of those
Mommy,
things here.
I want to make a mobile.
You want to make a mobile? I can do both. That's the beauty of this project. All right, you want to hold yours up? It's a little warm, but not hot.
Hot.
No, it's not hot. It's just a little warm. It doesn't really get that hot. You want to hold it up so people can see? Oh my goodness, Calla's with all these colors came out so cool. What do you think? Can I hold it up to the
It
camera?
almost kind of looks like a mermaid.
Oh my goodness.
I'm going to look at it. See.
Okay, she's super excited about it, so we're going to let her focus on it. All right, so I'm going to show you a couple things that we can do. I'm going to take my little triangle and show you how to make that. So I cut out a triangle shape.
Oh my God, Mom, I just draw a little bit of fins on there.
Oh, you can do what you'd like with it, hon. Whatever you want to do. This is your
See,
artwork.
I made a mermaid.
Callus looks like a mermaid. I am going to fold my triangle in half. Like that. I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut along each line. Not quite all the way to the end. There. And I'm going to turn it and do along this line. Same deal. Leaving just a little bit of space on the edge so that it is a frame. Then I'm going to take this. I'm going to set it on top part of my melted crayon. I'm going to trace the outside. I trace the outside of my triangle there. It's a little tricky to see, but it's right there. And now when I cut it, I'm going to cut on the inside of the line a little bit. So that when I cut my piece out, you won't be able to see the pen mark. And I will have room to tape it to my frame. Okay,
I'm gonna do
so I have
one
my
of those.
colored piece of sun catcher. I have my frame. I'm gonna match them up. I'm gonna have to play around with it to make sure I get it right. There we go. Like that. And now I'm going to use my tape, and I'm gonna put a little bit of tape around the edges and try not to have it go over the edge of the black frame. So I'll take one so you can kind of see it. So it's hard to see because my tape is clear, but I put a piece of tape along each side, and it's just barely going over the edge of my frame. And anywhere that it goes over the edge, I just kind of fold the tape around to the front. And there is a sun catcher. And wait till you hang this in the window. It looks so cool with the light shining through it, I'm telling you. I might have to bring you over to the window to show you after. All right, and the next thing I'm going to do is I was talking about finishing my mobile. So I have fishing line, I have a stick, I have my flower shape or whatever shape you would like to use, cookie cutter. You don't even have to use cookie cutters, honestly. I just drew my raindrops for that part of my mobile. I just drew them by hand.
Mama, what I want to draw?
Yes,
I want to draw some flowers in the mermaid.
Yeah, it's your art, my love. You can draw whatever you would like. Okay? So I'm going to cut out my flower. You can borrow my pen. I'm done with that. I'm going to cut out my flower. And then I'm going to cut out a piece of fishing line.
The very next day, oh, the cat came back. He thought he wasn't gonna, but the cat came back.
We were listening to Lori Berkner earlier today. Can you tell? All right, so I've got my flower. I've got my mobile. I'm going to cut a piece of fishing line. Fishing line is clear.
Mama.
String. You can kind of see it in the light there.
Add a person.
And I'm going to tie it onto.
Hey, Mama.
Yeah.
Do you want to add a person under your rain waiting for the flowers?
You can if you want, yeah. I'm going to tie a double knot. So 2 knots. Like the first knot when you tie your shoe twice. And then I take a piece of tape. Not that long, about the length of the tip of my finger. I put my flower up against my fishing line, and I tape the back of it so that the tape is going over the fishing line on the flower. See that? It's a little tricky because so much of this is clear today. Hope you can see that. All right, and then when I hang it up, look at that. I have rain, and I'm gonna add more flowers to the bottom. I cut a long piece of fishing line, about 18 inches long, and I had done the same for the raindrops. And then to hang my whole mobile, I just have some string. You could use ribbon, and I'm going to tie it to either end of the mobile so that I can hang it somewhere in a window. And I will definitely take a picture when we finish that. All right, guys, I think that's it for today. I hope I answered all your questions. This was a little bit more involved project than we've done before, but I hope you enjoyed it. It's a really beautiful one for spring, and it's definitely a good one for right now where we can brighten up all of our windows. So we hope everybody has a great weekend. We're excited to share our next super art supply with you on Monday and do 5 more projects with you next week. So have a good weekend, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Bye.
Bye.